I hear you. That's exactly what happened to me. He forced me to put so much money into groceries, cleaning supplies, utility bills, and I was making a fourth of what he was making. Like, he was making 4 times as much as I was. He was buying the gold watches, the fancy clothes, the expensive cars. Meanwhile, I was surviving like a single mother within the relationship, unable to buy myself new clothes, to even get a fucking haircut. And that is financial abuse. And they purposely do this to you, so they put you completely in debt, so that all of your money goes towards surviving within the relationship. You have no safety net, you have no savings, you have no 401k, you have no way of leaving, even if you do have a job. And that's what people don't understand, is that, well, it's like, well, she had a job, she worked. What happened within the relationship? What happened in the relationship was that he forced you and me to put all of that money into the house, into surviving, into making sure that you had enough money in the house to feed a family of 5, which were all boys, growing boys. So you are put in a situation where you have no extra money. You go to work, you come home, you have to contribute towards the house, you have to contribute towards the utilities and the food, and all of your money is going to these things. Meanwhile, he's living the high life. Does that mean he never contributed? No. But it means that you were specifically financially controlled and weaponized by the amount of money that you made. So yeah, I totally get it. They purposely do this so you don't have any options, so that if you wanted to leave, that you couldn't. And the last ditch effort that he had was, because I was in this situation, saying to me, why don't you get rid of your vehicle? And because he had 3 vehicles, why don't you get rid of your vehicle and then you can use one of my vehicles? That's going to free up your car payment, your insurance, and your gas money. And you, being in this situation, would be like, oh, well, that makes sense, and that would help me a lot. But see how they disguise the abuse as trying to help you? Because if I had given up my vehicle, that was the last thing that I had control over. That was the last out that I had out of that house. Even though it would have freed up so much money for me because I was struggling just to survive within the relationship, something clicked in me and said, my intuition and everything in my gut said, don't do this. Don't do this. Because if I had done that, every time I would have asked to use his vehicle, whether to go get groceries, maybe take my son to hockey, or go watch my son play hockey, or do something, anything that had to do with my son or me, I would have got the side eye, the silent treatment, the what do you need that for? You're doing, it would have just been a big thing, because everything was always a big thing. And I'm losing track. I lost track of my train of thought. But that's how abuse is disguised as trying to be helpful. Because he'd have been like, well, I told her to get rid of her car and she could use mine. Yeah. But there's an invoice attached to that. It's not as easy. But see, somebody with a narcissistic abuse always uses that type of way to abuse you by making them look helpful, or making them look like they're trying to make your life easier, when behind closed doors, you know what's going on. So yeah, girl, I totally get it. I totally get it. And see, from the outside of our relationship, looking in, people would have thought that I had everything okay and taken care of, and that everything should have been fine. But they didn't know what was going on behind closed doors, because these toxic men, they don't act like that when they're out in public. They tell people a totally different story. So from the outside, it doesn't always look like what's happening behind closed doors. So don't worry about it. You know what's happening. You knew what was happening, and I'm glad you got out. And especially as soon as you tell them you want to leave, everything gets worse. So My advice to anybody would be, don't tell them you want to leave. Start taking the steps to create financial independence from home. Start getting yourself out of debt. There's the ways in my link. Go to my link and start doing things you're going to have to save yourself, because no one's coming to save you. You're going through narcissistic abuse. Your finances have been totally messed up, and you're going to be the one that has to get yourself out of it. But you can. You absolutely can. They think that they've put you in a situation where it is almost impossible for you to get out of. But that's where I come along, you see, because I've spent the last 4 years creating a way for women to be able to get out of these situations, because I know what it's like to be trapped like that. I know what it looks like from the outside and what it's like to be going through that behind closed doors. But I didn't care. I don't care what people think. I could give two shits what people think about me, or that they think about what happened within the relationship. I know my truth. I know what was happening. My son knows what's happening, and that's all I care about. Everybody else can suck it, really. I haven't even gotten into all of the ways that I was financially controlled. There's legal things too that are going to be coming up that I'm going to be talking about. Yeah, that's going to be coming. So anyways, anyone in this situation, go to my link, go to my comments. You're not stuck.